The presidency has a rich history that spans over 2 centuries, starting from George Washington's election in 1789. This role has evolved significantly, with presidents coming from various political parties and contributing unique perspectives. This journal script provides a chronological overview of all US presidents and their political affiliations, helping to contextualize the ideological shifts that have shaped America. The election of a US president is a complex process that ensures representation across the country. Every 4 years, voters cast their ballots in a general election, but the ultimate decision is made by the Electoral College, a group of representatives from each state. This system requires a candidate to secure 270 out of 538 electoral votes to win. Over the years, political parties have played a pivotal role in influencing voters and shaping election outcomes. Now let's take a look at a comprehensive list of US presidents ordered chronologically, along with their respective political parties. This sequence not only outlines the succession of leadership, but also highlights the transitions between different political ideologies. George Washington, 1789 to 1797, Independent. John Adams, 1797 to 1801, Federalist. Thomas Jefferson, 1801 to 1809, Democratic Republican. James Madison, 1809 to 1817, Democratic Republican. James Monroe, 1817 to 1825, Democratic Republican. John Quincy Adams, 1825 to 1829, Democratic Republican. Andrew Jackson, from 1829 to 1837, served as a Democratic president. Following him, Martin Van Buren took office from 1837 to 1841, also representing the Democratic Party. Then came William Henry Harrison in 1841, a Whig, though his term was tragically short. John Tyler succeeded him, serving from 1841 to 1845. Initially as a Whig, but later as an independent. James K. Polk, from 1845 to 1849, was a Democratic president known for his expansionist policies. Zachary Taylor, a Whig, followed from 1849 to 1850 until his untimely death. Millard Fillmore then assumed the presidency, serving from 1850 to 1853 as a Whig. Finally, Franklin Pierce took office from 1853 to 1857, representing the Democratic Party. James Buchanan, serving from 1857 to 1861, was a Democratic president. He was succeeded by Abraham Lincoln, a Republican who served from 1861 until his assassination in 1865. Andrew Johnson then took over, serving from 1865 to 1869, representing the National Union and later the Democratic Party. Ulysses S. Grant, a Republican, served 2 terms from 1869 to 1877. Rutherford B. Hayes followed, serving from 1877 to 1881 as a Republican. James A. Garfield's term in 1881 was cut short by his assassination. Chester A. Arthur then served from 1881 to 1885, also as a Republican. Grover Cleveland, serving from 1885 to 1889, was a Democrat. Then came Benjamin Harrison, a Republican from 1889 to 1893. Interestingly, Grover Cleveland returned to office from 1893 to 1897, again as a Democrat. William McKinley, a Republican, served from 1897 to 1901. Theodore Roosevelt, another Republican, took over from 1901 to 1909. Finally, William Howard Taft, also a Republican, served from 1909 to 1913. Woodrow Wilson, a Democrat, led the nation from 1913 to 1921. Warren G. Harding, a Republican, served from 1921 to 1923. Following him was Calvin Coolidge, also a Republican, from 1923 to 1929. Herbert Hoover, another Republican, was in office from 1929 to 1933. And then Franklin D. Roosevelt, a Democrat, served an unprecedented 4 terms from 1933 to 1945. Harry S. Truman, from 1945 to 1953, a Democrat. Dwight D. Eisenhower, from 1953 to 1961, a Republican. John F. Kennedy, from 1961 to 1963, a Democrat. Lyndon B. Johnson, from 1963 to 1969, a Democrat. Richard Nixon, from 1969 to 1974, a Republican. Gerald Ford, from 1974 to 1977, a Republican. Jimmy Carter, from 1977 to 1981, a Democrat. Ronald Reagan, from 1981 to 1989, a Republican. George H.W. Bush, from 1989 to 1993, a Republican. Bill Clinton, from 1993 to 2001, a Democrat. George W. Bush, from 2001 to 2009, a Republican. Barack Obama, from 2009 to 2017, a Democrat. Donald Trump, from 2017 to 2021, a Republican. Joe Biden, from 2021 to the present, a Democrat. Analysis of political party influence. The transition from the Federalist and Democratic Republican parties to the current Republican and Democratic parties reflects shifts in American political priorities over time. The Democratic-Republican era focused on limited central government, whereas the Whig and Federalist parties were rooted in economic nationalism. With the rise of the Republican Party during Lincoln's presidency, the nation saw a focus on civil rights and industrial growth. The Democratic Party later championed social reform, becoming more progressive in the 20th century, while Republicans often promoted free market policies and smaller government. From Washington to Biden, each president has left a mark on American history. This list illustrates the diverse ideologies and party dynamics that have defined US leadership. The evolution of political affiliations highlights the dynamic nature of American governance and reflects the nation's changing priorities through the decades.